I'm not a fan of the government handing out cash for art. I'm especially not a fan of the government handing out cash for politically motivated art. In countries like Cuba or North Korea or Nazi Germany, cash for politically motivated art would be called propaganda art. Franke James is a BC artist who feels she's entitled to taxpayer dollars for a European art tour to attack one of Canada's largest industries, the oil and gas industry. Back in 2011, she says Canadian diplomats agreed to offer her a $5,000 grant for her 20-city European art tour to showcase her visual essay entitled Dear Prime Minister, which included such works as this one, and this one, and this one calling on polluters to pay a tax, and this one. There's more. So then what happens, according to this woman, is the government discovers that the money would be used to attack and delegitimize Canada's oil and gas sector, a sector that directly and indirectly employs roughly 500,000 Canadians. And so they pulled the $5,000. Because why should tax dollars be on the hook for that? Why should the taxpayer pay for this exhibit? I mean, why don't you sell your own art? Why don't you raise money on Kickstarter for your own art? Why don't you ask David Suzuki for some of his multi-millions? If everyone outraged by Franke's grant being denied just donated a couple of bucks, she'd reach her 5,000 mark easily. But then she wouldn't be able to dine off getting her grant denied. Because once her grant was denied, rather than getting back to work on her art, she embarked on a 4-year campaign to find out why the government banned her. See, she thinks she's so normal, that it's so outrageous that the government would take this money from her. I think it's outrageous that the government even contemplated giving her money in the first place. So Franke discovers through access to information more than 2,000 internal federal emails and other records related to the decision to revoke her funding. First of all, whoever these bureaucrats are that spent all of this time exchanging 2,000 emails deciding about a $5,000 grant, they should also go to find their way to the private sector. That's also a problem. Let's not deny it. Any government bureaucracy that has the kind of staff to exchange that many emails about one woman's propaganda art is probably overstaffed. Now, one of the emails revealed that the government does not support such private campaigns unless they, quote, clearly advance broader Canadian interests, and in this case, we do not feel it does so. Well, at a time when Canada's oil industry is under attack, for instance, there was recently a bid in the EU to label our ethical Canadian oil dirty oil, and not to mention all the divestment campaigns we're seeing across Canada. And this woman wants Canadian taxpayers to pay for an art exhibit to go around the world and trash an industry that has such high ethical standards is a source of national pride. But this isn't even about the art anymore. Which is Franke more passionate about, the art or the money? I think we can see the answer. She's an artist who feels so deeply about her art, but not so deeply that she uses her own money for her European tour. No, she wants my money. She's deeply passionate about your money. Just as the government spent too much time on this initiative, so she has spent far too much time complaining about it. She showed the world that she would rather spend hours playing political games than creating art. If you want to make propaganda art, then make it on your own dime. And if you want to undermine Canadian interests, then don't expect the Canadian taxpayers to finance it.